Texas lawmakers are set to visit Camp Mystic in just 2 hours, the first meeting of the investigative committee looking into the deadly July 4th floods. We've got all the details here on Midday. But first, your forecast. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Matt Howardson with meteorologist Colin Myers. And Colin, we got kind of an interesting weather pattern this week. Yeah. I feel like I have to be able to keep my head on a swivel as we go through this month, prepared to do a couple barrel rolls.
Right, there you go. And there has been a lot, this month is more rainy than usual, and it's one of our wetter months. I asked the staff earlier this morning, if you didn't catch it, I asked Matt and everyone offset, what's the rainiest month? And you got it right.
It's May. It's May. But, it's gonna be May.
No,
right?
not that. But April
too
showers,
much, too far?
Yeah, too much and too far. April showers bring April flowers, but we have May on deck and more rain on the way. It's gonna be May. I can't believe that's coming up so fast next week, guys, and we're already moving fast through April. All right, 63 in Fort Worth, and the sun is peeking through just as we started talking about rain, and now the sun is peeking through. That's how hard it is to follow the weather in Texas. It'll change every 5 seconds. As soon as you look at it, it'll change. So 63 now. Here are the temperatures across the board, low to mid 60s. We're doing really well here in terms of exceeding the forecast. 65 in Archer City, McKinney and Denton, you're at 64, Terrell's at 66, Dallas 65, Fort Worth 63 right now, headed to the upper 60s, lower 70s. And surprisingly, we're getting more breaks in cloud cover here, so warming up a little bit better. Here comes the cloud cover on Timecast, though. Watch this evening. By 4 or 5 o'clock, I think this overdoes it, but a few sprinkles moving into our western, southwestern counties. Granbury down towards Ellis, Stephenville, Breckenridge, Graham, Palo Pinto. And then overnight tonight, we'll see that very hit and miss. Cloud cover overspreads us, though, so that will allow us to temperatures to fall, but not as much as last night. And then by tomorrow morning, as you're commuting or watching daybreak, have it tuned here, because radar is probably going to be more active. A little bit of rain, I think along and south of I-20, a few rumbles of thunder in play, but nothing severe to worry about. Just good old rain for us there. Look at that, Tuesday, 9 a.m. perhaps. Coming up, we'll run through Timecast. More storm chances later in the week. Some of those could be heavier. All in all, we're doing well on rainfall. We'll look back at April coming up in just a bit. Station.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Colin. We're starting in the Mesquite area where we do have an accident that's affecting the westbound side of the highway. You can see how narrow that road is. They're doing a lot of road work in this area. So this accident causing a little bit of a backup. Once again, that location, 80 westbound at Gross Road. So this is just after you have passed the 635 intersection there. Another area we're watching, this is to the east of that location, also along US 80. You have some road work affecting that portion of the highway. We are watching it. It is slowing things down on the eastbound side, and this is closer to the Forney area. And now we're heading on over to Central Expressway because it looks like they do have some unscheduled road work that has closed the Gallatin exit on the northbound side of 75. And just north of that location, not a whole lot going on at this time along 75 at the President George Bush Turnpike. Traffic nice and light along the highway, but I do want to let you know tonight, if you're heading east on PGBT, you do have a closure at Central Expressway. Basically, if you're heading eastbound on the tollway, you cannot access 75, north or southbound. Those direct connector ramps are shut down due to road work overnight tonight.
Okay,
Matt.
good. Thank you so much, Stacia. Right now, we are working to find out what caused a fire that needed 50 firefighters to put it out and displacing more than a dozen people in Dallas. Janelle Fort shows us the damage at the Lakeside Apartments off of Central Expressway and Walnut Hill.
There's not really a safe spot here at the complex to really show you the scope of the damage this morning, but if you zoom up to the roof up there, you can kind of see some of what folks are waking up to. There's some charring. We know that part of the roof collapsed. And then take a look at this video from last night where you can see the large response outside this 3-story apartment building here at the Lakeside Apartments in Dallas. Dallas Fire Rescue says crews were called out here just after 8 o'clock last night. When they got here, smoke and flames were already pouring from the roof line. That quickly turned into a 2-alarm fire with more than 50 firefighters out here working for more than an hour to get it under control. This morning, officials tell us at least 20 people are displaced and at least one person was transported to the hospital and treated for smoke inhalation. And in the middle of all that chaos, neighbors say people were helping each other get out, including one woman and her dog, Larry.
We heard yelling, and then they were banging on the doors. All the neighbors were banging on the doors to get people out. And Larry went and ran, and so and hid. And so a neighbor helped me get him out. He literally lifted the whole bed up to get him out.
Officials say the Red Cross is now helping those families that were impacted by this fire. And this morning, Dallas Fire Rescue say they are still investigating what exactly caused these flames. I'll send it back to you.
The capital murder trial for former delivery driver Tanner Horner resumes this morning. The judge will hear expert witness testimony today, but the jury will not be there. This week begins with the defense trying to prove Horner had some sort of mental defect when he killed 7-year-old Athena Strand. We spoke with the legal expert who says recordings the prosecution has already played could be a major hurdle for the defense.
I don't think there's any way a defense expert can come in and provide any mitigating evidence that will overcome what we heard and saw in the courtroom.
The defense plans to call Horner's mother as a witness if they can locate her. The jury returns on Wednesday to hear arguments. And since there is no jury today, we are re-airing the second day of testimony and the trial on our streaming app. WFAA Plus is free to download. You can also get updates daily on WFAA.com.
That's your citation. That's littering. Step out of the car.
No, don't do that. I'm not stepping out.
Seen in this viral video, it's cell phone video of a traffic stop in Hearst that escalated. Tanisha Thompson was eventually charged with resisting arrest. Her attorney says she ended up with a black eye, a torn lip, and needed stitches. Hearst police, though, says that the corporal who made the stop acted in full accordance of the law and within department policies. They even released body cam footage of their interaction. Also happening today, Texas lawmakers should be arriving at Camp Mystic in the next 2 hours. The committee investigating the deadly July 4th floods is holding its first meeting on site at 1 p.m. today. It is looking at what happened and how to strengthen the state response to flooding and other natural disasters. Those floods, they are causing concerns for families this summer, trying to make summer camp plans right now, wondering about safety. 27 campers and counselors died at Camp Mystic, but as Cynthia Isagire shows us, that tragedy has led to a lot of change.
With families in the midst of summer camp planning, you should know that the state implemented new requirements this year. Camps must now submit an emergency plan and share it with parents. The plans should include how to respond to different emergency events, communication and evacuation plans, and methods to monitor weather alerts. All camps are required to maintain operable radios that can receive real-time weather alerts and maintain emergency warning systems on site to alert all campers and staff. Finally, if a cabin is located within a floodplain, camps must notify parents and parents must acknowledge it. Cabins on floodplains are now required to have emergency ladders that allow access to the roof.
All right, so camps are getting booked quick. Join us all week on Daybreak for Camp Week. We found some low-cost and free options that are still open and available. And we'll also talk about the questions you should ask before signing up your kiddos. The fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran is now less than 2 days from expiring. Trump administration officials appear to be gearing up for another round of negotiations, but right now Iran has not indicated that it's agreed to those talks. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest.
Today, as the war on Iran enters its 8th week, President Trump appears willing to escalate the tension if Iran doesn't agree to a deal, writing on social media this weekend, quote, "The United States is going to knock out every single power plant, every single bridge in Iran. No more Mr. Nice Guy." The ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran is set to expire on Wednesday. A White House official tells ABC News Vice President Vance will travel back to Pakistan for another round of talks, though no plans have been set as Iran has not yet agreed to the talks themselves. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson says today transferring the country's enriched uranium stockpiles to the U.S. or anywhere else is not on their agenda. Experts have warned the Trump administration attacking Iran's infrastructure could violate international law. Still, UN Ambassador Mike Waltz is defending the president's threats.
Go all the way back to World War II. Of course, we bombed and took down bridges, other infrastructure, power plants that, yes, could be used for civilian, but also are used to manufacture drones and missiles.
This weekend, the UK Maritime Trade Operations Center reported Iran fired on 2 Indian-registered ships in the Strait of Hormuz. A day later,
Motor Vessel Tosca. vacate your engine room.
This video shows the U.S. Navy warning an Iranian cargo ship trying to move past the American blockade before Marines boarded the ship and seized control. Iran calls it American aggression and promises to respond. Both the U.S. and Iran are now trying to assert more control over the strait.
Gas is up from $2.30 to $4. You have now Iran having a more hardline regime, as we just heard, and all our allies like UAE being hit.
Stocks fell off in the opening bell today, and oil prices jumped, reacting to the Strait of Hormuz being closed again. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
And back here at home, early voting is underway for the May 2nd elections. Voters will decide on several issues, depending on where you live, like the Dallas ISD bond package, the largest in state history. And 3 cities will decide whether they want to continue DART service. The polls are closed tomorrow for a state-observed holiday, but they will reopen on Wednesday, and early voting runs through April the 28th.